Hello. What is all of this about? Why does Bradley Martyn keep challenging people smaller than him? Especially this UFC fighter of yours, Chito Vera. Why is he challenging Chito Vera? I think someone like Sean O'Malley, if he has punching power, if he has nimble footwork, he'd piece him up. I think a grappler who's smaller as well would do quite well versus this man. He has fight understanding, he knows basic technique. I think he could hurt someone if he hits them. I think most of the human population, if Bradley Martyn wanted to fight them, I think he'd win. Because I don't think most of the population is trained. And he knows how to punch, he's a big, powerful man, he's actually physically dangerous. But the reality is that I don't think this is about him being able to fight. I think he's trying to assert dominance with his size alone because he's trying to prove something. He's trying to prove that he's the bigger man. He should be an alpha male because of it. When in reality, that's not what civilized society is predicated on. And quite frankly, that mentality would get him killed. It'd get him ripped apart. In the past, people who behave like this, it didn't matter how big you are. There's a reason why most men are average size. That is the dominant phenotype. That is what was most successful in the dating pool. Not height. Average size was winning because it was the most effective at surviving and reproducing. That's why there's more people who are average height. What is successful wins. But now the narrative has changed, and it's more so this appearance of domination that seems more attractive, seems to dictate the narrative in the gene pool, and that's important because women are the selective society. A lot of our motivations are because women choose us for those things. But quite frankly, it's not even the height that they're attracted to, it's the vibe taller people have. The more confident they walk through the air, they walk with an air of ease. They're more confident. Dominant is natural to them, but they're more friendly and playful, despite having that subtle tone of dominance. It's just easier being a taller man because you naturally attract fear. You naturally generate fear. People respect you on your height alone. And that's what's attractive to women, a man who is respected. And this is important. This is what it's all about. But the reality is a smaller trained man, Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul, proved that size isn't everything. Floyd Mayweather probably could have seriously hurt Logan Paul if he wanted to. He was hurting him, and Logan actually said, ease up a bit. Don't be so serious. Ease up a bit. In the animal kingdom, size is a real thing. But when it comes to humans, it's almost as if the more skillful fighter always has the edge. If you're a grappler and you're versus someone who has no training experience, the things you can do to them, this happened to me a lot of times. When I used to train at a bodybuilder, I still do. I still do this more so because of my back injuries. I try to still keep in shape. But I've had people size me up. I've had bigger people try to mess with me, and I always just pick them up. And I say, I can slam you on your head whenever I want, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're not a trained fighter. You don't know what you're doing. Stop trying to mess with me because I could seriously kill you. I could take my key out of my pocket and hit you in the throat, and I'd be too fast for you to even react to because you don't know how to throw a punch. You don't know how to guard. You don't know how to stop me from touching your throat whenever I want. And if that's true, I can hit you in the jugular with my key over and over again. I can puncture it and you might die. Or I could just slam you on your head and there's nothing you could do to stop me. This entire narrative of bigger people trying to dominate smaller people, and it doesn't happen with actual fighters. It doesn't happen. When you go to a gym and you train, tall, big people are actually very humble because they have experience rolling with people, striking with people who are smaller than them, that are more skilled, and schooling them, and they want to learn from them. And they realize respect is the best way to do that. Respect in the gym where you train to develop yourself is the ideal narrative. But people are completely untrained. They have no life experience. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect. With their fragile egos as well, they're often trying to prove that I'm the bigger man, I'm better than you because I'm bigger. Not only that, because of their lack of experience, Dunning-Kruger effect, they believe they're superior to you. The less you know, the more confidence you have. The more you know, the more humble you become. That's why bigger men who train to fight are actually very humble, and they're very dangerous. They do have an advantage. If two trained people meet, the guy who's bigger and trained has an advantage. But the guy who's smaller versus an untrained man or significantly more skilled than the other bigger man, he's probably going to win. And that's unique, it seems, in this animal kingdom, because for the most part, the narrative is size is the advantage. The bigger animal usually wins. When it comes to humans, that's not necessarily true. There's a reason why average height is the most prevalent height. It's the most successful at survival and reproduction. But a bigger man only has an advantage if he's equally trained. And even then, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, I'd say Stephen Thompson is a more skillful fighter than Anthony Pettis. He still got knocked out when he took him for granted, when he underestimated him. That's the reality. That's the truth. And Bradley Martyn, with his fragile ego, trying to prove he's the bigger man, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Because in the grand scheme of things, that mentality is not how we establish a harmonious, civilized society. It's not even what women actually find attractive. They're attracted to vibe. They're attracted to vibe, and taller men usually have the vibe. And quite frankly, I think Demetrius Johnson would beat him in a grappling match. I think in the jiu-jitsu match that we're going to have, I think Demetrius would win. I think a lot of smaller fighters, I think Cheeto Vera would probably beat the fuck out of Bradley Martyn if it came down to an actual street fight. Mike Perry fought him. It'd be an easy fight for Mike Perry. I think this entire narrative of trying to prove himself, it's going to reveal a narrative to men where smaller men can regain their confidence and say, I don't have to be afraid. I live in civilized society, the rules of the society. I don't have to be afraid of these guys who are bigger than me. If I train how to fight, and most of these guys don't train how to fight, I'm relatively safe. This is it. I was afraid for nothing. Love thy neighbor. That's the narrative we should carry ourselves with. Instead of looking at constant people and intimidating them or being afraid of them, instead of that, know if you establish a capacity for cruelty in civilized society, for the most part, you're safe. And from there, you should just love thy neighbor. Your life will be better if you do it. Why not? You don't need to prove you're the man. What are you going to get out of it? What's it going to give you? It's just going to make you a loser long term. Everyone who does that ends up a loser in life. Because we made it here together. Humanity's greatest strength is our ability to work together. And so, if we constantly try to intimidate people, say because we're insecure, our ego is fragile, whatever the reason may be, if we're constantly trying to intimidate people, show we're the man, we stop loving thy neighbor, thus we lose the superpower that built this world in the first place. So really, it goes back to what I was asking before. What's he doing? Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Smash that like button if you do. If you'd like to leave me a comment, I'd appreciate that. And until next time, peace.